What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to be unboxing and setting up the Home Depot 2025 Gallycrow. This guy went 75% off and is retailed for $3.99, but is now like under $100. So, of course, me liking my big props, I decided to buy one. Because, yes. He's made by Seasonal Visions. I'll get into some of that later because I actually do have a major complaint with Seasonal Visions in general. Here when we open, of course the first thing we see is the base. That makes me feel like I have it upside down, but I definitely don't. So I'm gonna blame the Packers, not me. Anyway, I'm setting him up here rather than in the normal spot because he's 114 pounds and I don't want to move that. So yeah, here's his base. And he actually has more support than I expected. See if I can lift it. Yeah. Those these things are quite sturdy. Phantom, I think, had them, and I mean Phantom broke, but that had nothing to do with those. Yeah, they're overall pretty. Whoops. Overall pretty solid for supporting. I do wish that there was more, but I mean whatever. Here's the clothing. I think I don't really know what else it would be, so I'm gonna go with that. Everything is plastic wrap. So I own or have owned over 50 props in my time, and throughout those, I've picked up on a lot of tendencies and things, obviously, as you do. One thing I've noticed is these guys are built well, but only to a certain point. Like, for the price you're paying for this, they should be able to withstand more than they can. And my issue isn't even with them breaking in the wind, it's with Phantom specifically, the other 15-footer, falling and just absolutely eating when he hits the ground. Happened last year and happened this year. This year he broke. So yeah. But the issue isn't even that he's like cheaply made, it's just that the welds are atrocious. But I do still think Seasonal Visions is the best at making the Giants because, well, like I feel like the 114 pounds says a lot. I mean, he's sturdy, definitely. But I do still have concerns with him breaking. Oh, his mecha is just there. That's interesting. I don't know if I can show that very well, but it's in there. You can see the springs. Ow, that's my knee. Give me it. Thank you. So it's, I think, water caps, tethers, adapter, stakes, whatever. Maybe adapter's not in there, I can't tell. Here's his head. This thing's big, obviously, as you can see. I think it looks great. I've heard a couple people, or at least one person, say that they thought that it looked bad, or people had said it looked bad. I don't really agree with that. He kind of does look like a sponge, but in a good way. He's like a good sponge. I didn't know bad sponges existed, but anyway, more of these pieces for all of eternity. I'd like to speed this up because I do have work later today, so would like to be on time to that. But there you see, and if you would like to see, he's got lights only, timer, which is sensor, and then just step head. But I keep them on lights only generally. And there you see the sensor. With the sticker that says sensor here. Just in case you didn't notice. Okay. We're almost there. This is going to be a nightmare of a setup. I can't even lie. This other piece isn't important. He's very gray. I feel like Gallycrow is more brown than this, but I guess the gray does fit. The big base. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said this thing was big. That is literally the entire metal base covered by things. I think. I don't know. I'll figure that out once we actually get there. Here's a box with metal pole. That is certainly an angle. There's certainly two angles, actually. You got one there, and then you got one there. Hope it's supposed to be like that. I just get PTSD from Murderous Mabel. For those of you who didn't watch that unboxing, he came bent somehow, somewhere. Adapter and instructions, don't really need to show that yet. Something else that's heavy. Parts inside this box, in case you didn't know. I'm guessing this is the little base legs that stick out in the bottom before I even open it, but here's pole I. This one is the one that's I'm confused by, because it's got like a bracket. I'll show it. Got like a little bracket on it. I don't know what that's for. I guess we'll find out at some point in time. A thick wire. Wow. Look at the water cap on this. It's massive. And then you've got, I don't know what this is for. Looks like a water spout, but cool, I guess. And then finally, one more important piece box. So these are, I think, lower poles. I'm not gonna pull them out right now, but I see like a C on there. I see that's the C right there. That is a short pole, and then a couple longer ones, and another C. That's funny. Well, that was fun to get that unboxed. I'm gonna organize the parts and try to get a good position for this camera to not fall, while also making sure that I'm putting his base where I want him. And I'll be back once we're at a good point to actually start the unbox or the setup. Here are the instructions, since I didn't show them earlier, as I unfold this amalgam. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so... it's so much, man. I gotta read. Alrighty, so first step is so insanely hard. You're popping the base on. And the one thing that I'm gonna notice is the hook is on the right, like I have it. And then there will be a spot in the base where that hook will end up inserting. And it's pretty obvious to tell where it is if you try opening your eyes a little bit. Right there. And then that'll slide right over both these. I do like that he has the two poles, but they're definitely still a little close together for my liking. So you're going to want to do what I didn't do. There's these two short poles that are labeled C, and these are going to slide over one side of D, which should be the side that I have on the bottom. And yeah, I'll end up having some screw holes at the back, so if I take this off, I'm just going to warp right up there, and I'll just probably let it drop. And same with the other side. You will want to screw those in at some point. However, what you should probably do first is with the C's on the D, that sounds weird, you're going to slide over D, and then the C's will drop, and then you'll have some nice holes you can put some screws through, which you should have a little bag that came with the, like, water caps and stuff, I think it was. I don't know, I already forgot. And yeah, you can see there is a butt ton of screws, which is always exciting. I love when I see 7 billion screws with my animatronic. I'm now realizing how far he's leaning forward because of that incline, and I'm gonna deal with that in a second. The step before that, though, or step before dealing with that, is putting on E, which this one has no gap. So you just kind of figure it out, I guess. Pretty easy to match them. Like that, boom. That was so much easier now that I actually had the right part. Next up is going to be throwing F on for real this time. Like so. And then the step after that is throwing G on and screwing in another screw, because why not? It's the one with the bracket, I believe? Yes, it is. And the bracket part goes on the bottom. Shockingly. And it goes on the right side, because that's the only side it can go on, actually. Next step after putting G on is putting H over, which is the one with the sensor and the control box, and you know which side is which. I don't think I need to explain that part. I'm assuming that G goes up the long side. Yes, it does. And at some point down here, somehow down here rather, this will pop in, but like that. There we go. Next up, if I read it correctly, would be I. Down the other side, and then it's another screw, because why isn't it? And then after pinching your finger a couple times, I will slide nicely, and eventually with another screw as well. Alright, so this is the point where I have to lean over the box as well, and I do... Wow, that's funny, actually. Thanks for catching it, Bucks. I gotta lean them forward. Like this. Now I'll be coming right at you. Good. Yeah, I do have him right next to Ghost. Ghost is just immediately to the right of the camera. Literally just out of view. You can probably hear the creaking, actually, from the wind. Anyway, next step is popping J onto which side? J onto I, which is the side that's sticking out right now, I believe. And that'll be very in your face. And then you got a couple wires to connect. Alrighty, so after that, we're putting a piece onto J. And make sure those wires don't leave as we do that. The piece that is mentioned is K. So again, I'm going to try to just fit this over everything. Next one is putting L on the other side, so I can pan down and show you this one very nicely. L is that really strangely bent pole. That is hopefully supposed to be like that. I guess we'll find out pretty shortly. Yeah, that looks right. Because you can see, based on that bend, how it's supposed to line up with the other side. And then his probably chest will go on top. But it is kind of hard to tell. Well, you can't actually see that high, my bad. But you're just going to have to believe me. Next up is popping M over L. And then you'll kind of see that these two will meet at the top. Again, won't fully meet, but it's the step that I dread on Werewolf, at least, where you have to, next up, put the chest piece on. For Werewolf, because this chest piece weighs like 3 million pounds, it's not fun, but hopefully this guy won't be as bad. This step requires 3 people. I'm me, so I got it, surely. And yeah, so the reason that it has 3 people is because somebody's supposed to hold the base still, while somebody also makes sure all the pieces set properly, and then, you know, one person can do this. This piece isn't too big, though, so I mean, I should be able to do it by myself. Guess we shall find out, though. I got one side on. And that is the other side on. Oh my god. Oh, that was a full arm workout right there. I'm not gonna lie. I see why it needs 3 people, because of the fact that the pieces are trying to slide up a little bit because of the fact that he's laying down. So that just makes that whole step really, oh my god, really annoying. So I dropped the Allen wrench and it went down into him and I can't get it. I was trying to stand him up so it would fall at the bottom, but it didn't go all the way down like I thought it did. So that's exciting. Next step is putting on his chest piece here, I believe. I think that's what it was saying. I don't know. And then it's gonna just like loosely chill here for a minute. I don't like that, but that's what you do. Because what you're gonna do from there is you're gonna screw it in with, say it with me here, X, which is this piece. This piece will go so far in that it holds the chest plate in. I don't exactly know about that, but that's what that's what it does. So okay, that was annoying because I did have to disconnect it to pop the wires in, and then I just ended up having help holding it since somebody was out here anyway to help me, and I figured I might as well utilize the help. I also got a new Allen wrench, so not his, but it should fit, hopefully, according to what I was told. Anyway, he's got this big clothing thing. This is apparently optional, but I think he looks weird without it, so I'm popping it on. And then somewhere in the like middle back, thanks, really loud truck, he's got a hole where the little thing will slip through. If the netting could get out of my way, preferably. Does he have Velcro? Other than... No, doesn't look like he does. I'm not seeing any, at least. Next up is putting Q on the side that we're on. Next up is R into Q with a screw. Oh shoot, I'm rhyming. We just got the, oh my god, the throw it in and then twist it. And at some point it'll, I think, line up well. Which is right there. It'll kind of click in a little bit. It also has a elastic wrap they just mentioned nothing about, which will end up needing to go around the arm, probably. I don't know why they didn't mention it, but what's next? Is it S? I think it's S. I don't know. I mean, it's the one. It's the one we haven't used yet. So. There's a spring pin on the inside here, like on his shoulder, kind of, or his collarbone, and there's a hole on the arm, and they're gonna want to line up. So the hole is, or the spring pin's at the top, like closest to his head. I'm gonna pull Big Brain here. I'm gonna slide it over this part of the arm so I can view the compartment that I need to be messing with. And then once this bad boy gets in here and rotated it on and then screwed in, I can just slide the strap up the whole arm instead. Next up is pretty obvious, I would imagine. It is not actually. It's the tether. I thought it was the head, but no, I forgot that the tether exists. When I opened the zip tie, or I broke the zip tie for the tether, the tether's like exploded almost. Just like outwards, which is kind of funny. I'm gonna deal with them after, but I'm gonna put on his head. So, it's got a wire that you need to connect. These wires are annoying. Actually, they look easy, but they have to go in a specific way, and you can't really tell what way that is. So it's essentially just putting it in and turning it out while pushing until it snaps in. I'm gonna try to squeeze this on and see. It's gonna fall back off. Oh my god. It might wiggle a little bit. It's moving back and forth for me, which I think is just a mechanism moving as I'm forcefully screwing it in. And then it's time for one more thing, which is his hood. And then it's water caps, which I just guess on anyway. I don't exactly use them. He's got a U-shaped stakes, which is actually unusual. I think something else I got this year had him as well, though. But normally it's just like the crappy ones. I don't know. He's got a strap here as well, which I'm assuming is just gonna go like over his face. So I'm gonna actually do this, go over his beak, and then hope it'll eventually find a good sitting spot. And then he's got a bunch of Velcro. He's got one in the center, which goes on the back of his shirt. He's got one on either shoulder, which will connect to like a middle range one on his hood. And he's got ones way out that go to his, like this part. Bicep, I want to say, but I don't know. I don't study people. That's a weird sentence. I don't study people. I mean, I would hope I don't. Anyway, pretty sure studying people would actually be defined as stalking, but what do I know anyway? Honestly, that's pretty much the video, but if you do want to see him up, then tonight at least, then you know. Stay tuned. Here he is in the dark. See if I can get a sensor to go off.
Not really crazy movement wise, but there he is next, his 4-foot ghost. His hand is over her head, so yeah, very awesome. I'm very glad I got him because he looks awesome here. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, have a fantastic rest of your day or night, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.